beaches.
Misfits on vinyl for me. Fuck John Cougar!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Misfits on Vinyl. My name is Spencer Streichert. I'm an actor, comedian, and one of your tits.
Oh, my name is Aaron. I am one of your hosts for the second week in a row.
Aaron is also a tit.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And an actor. Oh, by the way,
I don't self-identify as an actor.
I am also really sorry to hear about your show being canceled.
Which one?
The Jon Snow sequel series.
Yeah.
It is now officially axed by HBO. We don't get to see when Jon Snow was prosperous in the North.
It's okay. It was probably like maybe in my top 100 best performances, so it's not the end of the world.
It is kind of depressing though that they could have just released it.
Yeah, they could have, but
it's like that Batman movie.
Oh, I was also in Batgirl, so just on a cold streak right now. I was Batgirl. Super depressing. Yeah.
You know who I feel worse for out of that?
Who?
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
What a gem of a human being, and one of the biggest movies that was probably going to come out that year.
I think he did okay. He did The Whale. I think he's fine.
He
won an Oscar. I don't feel that bad for him, you know.
I do find it funny that for the longest time he was out of the spotlight, and he came back, and everyone was like, "We love him."
Yeah.
But a lot of people were like, "He wasn't a good actor," and then he fucking wins the Oscar. I was like, "Hell yeah, he did! Hell yeah, he did!" Dude.
Yeah, that was the year of like the comeback because Ki-Hugh Kwan also came back. Rob Zombie's wife, right? She's in everything.
Shay Moon Zombie.
Yeah.
I will say, I do like her in the movie Lords of Salem.
I've heard that as well.
Which I think that is Rob Zombie's best movie because it's cool because it's like she's like working at this like weird like NPR style like radio station, and she does a late night show, and she's like this metal chick, and then they get sent this record. And it's from this band that's going to be touring, and they play it, and it's like these weird distorted noises, and then she starts going fucking crazy, like slowly over time, and then she starts like, I don't know, like people start dying around her and shit. It's a psychological horror, and it's really good.
I've listened to a couple records in my time that has also made me go crazy. So
yeah, Cowboy Carter.
Yeah,
dude. I made a review. I posted it on my Instagram story where I gave it a 6.25 out of 10. Oh man, were people upset. Just a couple of people. A lot of people got that I was making fun of the album and like I'm just making jokes and whatever. Man, some people were very not happy.
Yeah.
Even people who didn't like the album were like, dude, you should not give it that low of a rating.
I don't disagree.
I don't either.
No.
I think that some of it was good and some of it was filler, as in 90% of it.
I seen a guy on YouTube. I forget his name, but he does.
You know how like there's like should have been a shorter album, should have been a single. Should have been a single.
Well, yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. I seen a guy on YouTube talk about it, and he dissected the lyrics of some of the songs, and it was like, yeah, like, I get it.
Speaking of lyrics, so Sierra Farrell's new album came out recently, and I listened to that. I've listened to it 3 times now.
Yes.
First time, I was just walking home one night, and I was like, okay, like there's some of this that I don't mind. There's some of this that I think is could be better. And then I was listening to it with Gabby on the way to Jasper this weekend. And dude, the one song that I still can't get over is called Dollar Bill Bar, and the lyric goes, "If I had $1 for every single cowboy's heart, I could break 100 down at the Dollar Bill Bar." And I'm like, yeah, everyone can. It's a dollar bill bar. What the fuck are you talking about? That's a stupid lyric. It's just like, I don't know why, but it's annoyed me to the point where I cannot enjoy that song.
No, that's fair. There's a couple of songs I've listened to recently where there's some questionable lyrics as well that also drive me mad. That new Jack Harlow song where he just rhymes "ya boy" with "boy" like 14 times in a row.
Dude, what about the new Baby No Money song with Moist Critical?
I seen the video of him at the Canucks game. Did you see this?
No.
He performed at the Canucks game. He donned full hockey gear and like a Canucks uniform, and he was like skating around while he was rapping, but he couldn't really skate that well. Like it was quite funny. Like I give him props for like committing to the bit, but like it was bad. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that does not sound
And
great.
on the back of his jersey, it had like Baby No, and then there was like a money symbol. It's the number on the jersey. Yeah, but he was trying. But yeah, he was like kind of like like hunched over. It looked like a lot of guys in my beer league team.
And you know what? That's only the second worst thing to happen at a Vancouver Canucks game.
Yeah. There's been certainly worse.
There's been certainly worse.
They've rioted twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got rid of the Sedin brothers.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
Well, they retired. I mean, they didn't like like
They got rid of them. They could have paid them more
didn't,
money.
like send them away. They retired. They were like
they traded them.
they were like almost 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. They called
what? Okay, what's his name? The old guy that's played for a long time. Fucking Scott. What's his name? He's from Cranbrook.
I don't know who you're
Starts with
talking.
an N.
Niedermeyer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been retired since like 2010.
Yeah, but he played for like until he was 40.
Yeah. So?
I'm just saying. I don't know, man. Hockey players could play a little longer, I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right. If that's your point.
As a professional athlete,
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
Yeah, one of the more physical, harder sports in the world. Yeah, okay. They can play to their 40.
Hey, man, Sidney Crosby still hasn't retired.
Yeah, he's like 36.
Well, is he 36? I thought he was a little older.
He might be 37.
I think he might be 40, dude.
No, he's born in 1987.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's literally his jersey number.
Oh, I didn't know
He was
that.
born on 8787.
All I know is that he won us an Olympic gold medal,
Yes.
which I'm happy about. And I used to make fun of him for taking time off in between
I
concussions.
feel like the last time you watched hockey was like 2010
Yeah, dude,
because
it's been a
everything
long
you're
time ago.
bringing up is like
They're all dated
15
references.
years old. Yeah.
Have you seen this new player, Wayne Gretzky?
You ever heard of Jean Beliveau?
Bobby Orr, I think, is going to win the cup this year.
Guy Lafleur.
Mario Lemieux is
Yeah.
really the Penguins' all-star.
Well, if you wanted to speak of someone that's playing at an old age, you should speak of Yammer Yager.
Yeah.
That guy's like 52.
Isn't it Jeremy?
No, it's
Jeremy
Yammer.
Yager?
But it was really funny because
Jagermeister?
they just retired his number, and his like girlfriend was there, and she's like super young, and he was like, "You wouldn't remember. I used to play for the Penguins. You were too young." And everybody laughed. Yeah, it's one of
That's
those
pretty
things.
funny.
One of those things. Well, it's funny we're talking about hockey because today we're going to be talking about a Canadian band.
That's true, we are.
From Toronto.
That's true.
I'm really looking forward to
They're
this.
from the Six,
Mhm.
as are we.
Every year, I don't know, but every year, every episode on this podcast, we talk about
What's
an
the
album.
name of the podcast, Aaron?
Misfits on Vinyl. We talk about an album, one that we love, one that could be really good, or one that couldn't be really good. You never know. We do it all.
We do it all.
This is one that happens to be pretty good, and we like it.
I dig it.
So today,
What's the album called?
we are doing The Beaches' Blame My Ex, which is their new album
Nice.
from 2023.
Which, funny enough, it actually has a connection to our podcast.
How so?
So Blame Brett is actually about Brett from the Vidos.
I believe so, yeah.
It is 100%. I'm not kidding. That actually is. I'm not joking. They had a thing a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
that's not who it's about. I actually have it in the document.
I just want to start a music rumor, okay?
Well, they've already confirmed the true rumor, so.
Well, okay, but
Anyways,
I can start mine.
yeah, fair enough. The Beaches are a Canadian rock band. They're from Toronto, as we said. The band consists of Jordan Miller, who's on lead vocals and bass, her sister, Kylie Miller, who plays guitar, does the backing vocals, Leandra Earl, keyboard, guitar, backing vocals, and Eliza Enman McDaniel, who plays the drums.
And you know, like, for those of you that have not heard of the Beaches before, imagine if Haim was good.
That's funny. I actually really like Haim. So the fact that you mispronounced their name too just makes me cringe even a little more. The one girl that was from Haim though was in that Paul Thomas Anderson movie Licorice Pizza.
Yeah, that one was such a bad movie, and
It was just a weird premise. Like
literally, I stood up in the theater when it was done and loudly said, because I knew it would make people uncomfortable, because a lot of people were really enjoying the movie. I was like, "Wow, that was statutory rape." The movie. And a bunch of people were very upset with me.
I mean, that's what I was alluding to. That the concept was a little bit cringy.
Yeah.
He's like 15 and she's like 23.
Yeah. And we got to see another child of a renowned actor in the starring role, like we did with The Many Saints of Newark.
Yeah,
and like The Many Saints of Newark, I was like, why the fuck did I watch this?
I thought that kid was good. I thought Philip Seymour Hoffman's son was good in it. Personally, I thought he did a swell job.
I'm just very critical.
And Michael Gandolfini was in the Bob Marley movie, which I watched recently.
Did he play Bob Marley?
No,
that would be amazing.
which wasn't good.
Yeah,
that
no,
movie,
I heard it's a lot of soccer.
A little bit of soccer, not as much as we first discussed, but it was just all over the place. I didn't know what. Like at the start of the movie, there was a date, and then after that, I had no idea where we were in time. And then he was like, my toe, and then he's like, I've got cancer in my toe. And that was pretty much the movie. I never knew he got fucking like someone tried to assassinate him though. I never knew that.
Yeah, I knew about that, but I didn't know
They
the
shot his wife in the head.
Fuck.
Yeah, I didn't know
lived?
that. Yeah, she did.
Damn, that's impressive.
Yeah, she lived long enough for him to cheat on her like 12 times with other women. Yeah, really, the movie was all over the place.
All about that peace and love, man.
All over the place. Like I feel like it had a lot of potential, but the way it was cut, like a lot of musical biopics are, it felt really rushed, and it felt,
I've kind of given up on musical biopics.
I don't know. I've heard the rumors of the new Bruce Springsteen one with Jeremy Allen White,
which I am excited to see that only because I really like Jeremy Allen White.
Apparently, it's only gonna.
Remember when I called him Jeremy Allen Wade?
Yeah.
Remember when I said Jason Isabel?
Yeah, you're just bad with names.
Dude, I'm bad at language.
When you said Nace. Anyways, that
Ayel Matique.
That movie's supposed to be quite. It's only supposed to focus on, like the recording of Nebraska.
Oh,
so
cool.
I have a little bit of higher hopes for that. I've been disappointed by Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, the Bob Marley movie. Yeah, all in recent times. So
the Elvis movie.
Yeah, the Elvis movie wasn't good.
I didn't mind it. I did not mind it compared to a lot of musical biopics I've seen. Like, dude, the Tupac movie was the worst one I've ever seen. There's a moment in it, like right off the start, where he's in like acting school with Jada Pinkett Smith, and he's like doing the worst Hamlet ever. He's like, to be or not to be, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
You're just doing this to flex that you can recite that.
No,
don't even play.
No, dude, because this is what he does, and then immediately when he gets to that part, the acting teacher goes, "We have our Hamlet," and everyone's like, "Woo!"
That's how that works.
That's exactly how that works.
Yeah, they give the part right at the audition,
Right at
in
the
front of
audition.
everybody. Yeah, I've never experienced that.
I know.
In my,
you usually just get offers.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
You're usually just getting called up by HBO, dog.
It's true. Well, Blame My Ex is the second studio album and is released on September 15th, 2023 via AWOL Records. I was listening to a couple different interviews with them because there's not a lot about the band and about this album out there. So on Q, they were saying that they took a lot of inspiration from like 80s new wave. Specifically, they cited The Cure as like a major inspiration on this album. And you can hear it in a couple songs. The last track of the album, Cigarette, like sounds like a Cure song.
It does.
Yeah, like it's mostly not so much in like the singing or the lyrics. It's mostly the sounds of the guitar.
Yeah.
I find in the drums and stuff like that, it sounds
It's a
similar
lot
to
of the rhythm that sounds like a Cure song.
Sounds like a new wave sort of thing, which is cool. I like that style of music.
Me too.
Which is, you know what, I didn't know about this band, and I found really interesting. Leading up to this album, like they had a major like switch up. Like they got dropped by Island Records.
Oh.
And then they fired their management team, and they got dropped by their American management team, and they only kept their Canadian management team.
Wow.
And the guy, their agent here in Canada said, like, this next project is like a real make or break for the band. So I have a little bit here.
And wow, did they make it?
Yeah, big time.
Dude.
Yeah, so
you cannot go on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok without seeing a video with Blame My Ex playing.
They have one of their other songs.
Brett, I mean.
One of the other songs they have, Edge of the World. That one's also blown up quite a bit for them as well. So I have an excerpt here from Toronto Life article. It's called "How Jordan Miller, the lead singer of the Beaches, Spends Her Days Off in Toronto."
Nice.
And it's by Jordan Miller, but it's told by Maddie Mahoney. And this just kind of touches a little bit on what we were just talking about. So 2022 was a rough year for the Beaches. The all-female four-piece rock band named after the Toronto East End neighborhood was dropped by their label and their American agents and eventually dumped their management. Jordan Miller was quoted saying it was a very scary time. The 27-year-old lead singer that's from the 27-year-old lead singer and bass player of the band. Their Canadian agent, their only remaining ally, told them that their next album would be, in terms of their careers, a matter of life and death. But then came the final breakup between Miller and her boyfriend, Brett Emmons of the Glorious Sons.
Ooh.
And then a juggernaut was born out of heartbreak, which is Blame Brett, which was released as a single in May and instantly went viral on TikTok. By the time the fully independent produced album Blame My Ex debuted in September, the band's monthly number of listeners on Spotify had exploded from like the small thousands to the millions. They're like at 3.4 or 3.5 million listeners a month now.
Dude, I bet that their record label and management feel real fucking dumb.
Yeah, I would say so. And also from the Q interview, I heard them talking about writing this song. Jordan said that she actually called Brett and said, like, I'm going to write this song. Just want to let you know. And he's like, could you find another name? And she's like, no, I couldn't. And she like explained the concept. It's based off, they had broken up and she was starting seeing someone else and they went on like 2 dates. And then he immediately told her that he loved her, and she was like, no. And then they were like, well, you know, she made a joke that to her friends that, yeah, like, it's not his fault. It's actually Brett's fault. And then they wrote a song about it. And that's how the song came together. Like I said, it was their first single.
I love that they just destroyed 2 men with this.
Yeah. It was released on May 5th, 2023. Like I said, it was about Brett Emmons of the Glorious Sons, who's another big Canadian band. It was co-produced, that song and this album was co-produced by Gus Van Gogh and Lowell. Gus Van Gogh is a producer, mixer, and musician, best known for his work with like a bunch of Canadian artists like The Beaches, Metric, Arkells, The Stills, Sam Roberts Band, Lowell.
Dude, we did a lot of these artists.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
White Horse, Hollerado.
Dude, Hollerado is really good.
Winter Sleep, Michael Roth, Tara Lightfoot, Said the Whale, The Trues, Priestess. So he's kind of got like a checklist of a lot of big Canadian bands.
So like every band that's played on X ever.
Yes. And then Elizabeth Lowell Boland, also known by the stage name Lowell, is a Canadian singer-songwriter, producer from Calgary. Known for writing collaborations with JoJo, Beyonce, Madison Beer, Haley Steinfeld, Bulow, Tate McRae, and more.
I actually we follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah, she wrote Texas Hold'em.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Bodyguard on the new album.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. They had some
really cool.
Some good Canadian people to work with, and they also in that Q interview, just to keep citing it, they were talking about how they were traveling to LA and working with people in LA for all their previous projects. Besides one, they worked with 2 people from Metric, but they were traveling to work with all these other artists, American artists. And when they did this one, they were like producing it independently. So they're like, well, you know, I want to work in Canada with Canadians, and they found some really talented people to help them write this project. So, so Blame Brett became the band's second #1 on the Billboard's Canada Rock Chart, and it totaled 4 weeks in the top position.
Nice.
After this, the band embarked on a tour of North America in 2023. They performed at Lollapalooza. Now they're performing in Australia the next couple weeks.
Nice.
They sold out their tour pretty much across the board. They've done a European, North American leg. They're, like I said, they're going to Australia. This said that mostly they sold out as the song introduced the band to a younger audience than their previous work had done before.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So it like blew them up like overnight, man.
Dude, I remember when, because it was 2018 when their first album came out, right?
Yes, I think their first album was 2018.
Because that was when we were in Toronto. Because I remember it was it was plastered on like all the billboards in Dundas Square and stuff. So like, I'm actually surprised that this is only their second album.
Yeah, they've released like 4 or 5 EPs separately. They've been like, they were a band beforehand under a different name. Like from like 2007 to 2011, and then they became the Beaches. They released 3 or 4 EPs, like I said.
Yeah.
I was introduced to them actually by my old coworker. I was working this shitty fucking job in a warehouse, and we got to pick the music we were listening to while we were like lugging shit from one pallet to another pallet. And my friend Mike, who, funny enough, is strange. He lived in Toronto when we lived in Toronto. He lived like 3 blocks away from us.
Really?
But I only met him when we moved here.
Wow.
Yeah. Mike moved from Ireland to Toronto. He lived like Yonge and Eglinton, and we were like closer to Davisville Station. But he knew all the same places we knew.
Wow.
He used to visit all the same spots. Yeah, and I met him at this job. He moved like I think probably 5 or 6 months before I moved back.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
You want to hear something really crazy? I went on Google Maps the other day to see like what our old apartment looks like. There's now a restaurant where the clothing store used to be.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and the whole street looks a lot different. Like there's a lot of new businesses there.
Interesting.
It's wild. I think Spa is still there though.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next door.
Hand jobs are recession-proof, dude.
I suppose so. So let's get a little background on the band. So in the early teens, Jordan and Kylie Miller joined drummer Eliza Enman McDaniel and guitarist Megan Fitchett to form the pop-punk quartet Done With Dolls in their hometown of Toronto. The band undertook a tour in 2011. They opened for All-Star Weekend, and they also performed the theme song for the Family Channel teen sitcom Really Me. They were more of like a pop-punk sort of deal.
Yeah.
But by 2013, Fitchett had left the group, and the remaining members added new guitarist Leandra Earl. She's from Little Italy in Toronto.
Hey, Lily.
And renamed
you can
themselves.
take the girl out of Little Italy,
We can.
but you can't take Little Italy out of the girl.
So I introduced Sarah to that movie, and now we watch it every year.
Really?
Yeah, it's.
I have not watched it.
We have a Little Italy day.
Dude, I feel like that's something that I'm gonna have to do with Siobhan.
I've watched it now, I think 3 times.
And then we'll watch it and laugh at Andrew Fung discovering that he's not really Italian.
Yeah, he's Vietnamese, and he's gay.
And he's gay.
Yeah.
It's honestly very controversial because he did Italian face and gay face in that movie.
Yep. It was, one of those movies.
It was a different time, man.
2018. A different time.
Different time.
So they also, like I said, they changed their name to the Beaches, which is named after where they grew up. Besides Leandra, who didn't grow up there, as we just mentioned.
Yeah, she grew up in Little Italy.
And they also adopted more of an alternate rock sort of sound. The Beaches released 2 EPs, The Beaches and Heights in 2013 and 2014.
Is that referencing Scarborough Heights?
I don't know. Probably. They do have a lot of Toronto references in
they do.
in their music.
It makes me think of A Simpler Time.
Yeah.
When I lived in Toronto and it was poor as shit.
Simpler. Yeah.
Simpler.
I feel like that was like probably the most complicated time of my life personally. I was extremely broke and extremely depressed. I feel like life was not simple for me back then. I was juggling a lot of hats and
You were juggling a lot of hats?
juggling a lot of hats and trying a lot of things and learning a lot about myself.
That's true.
Yep. Anyways, they signed with Island Records in 2016 after those 2 EPs.
Nice.
They debuted their first debut full-length studio album, Late Show, in 2017.
Ooh.
So close. It was produced by Emily Haynes and James Shaw of Metric, and was supported by 2 singles, Money and T-Shirt. T-Shirt, I've heard.
I've heard T-shirt.
I've heard T-Shirt.
I've heard T-shirt.
Because the latter peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Canadian rock charts. That's why I've heard it. And it was certified gold by Music Canada in 2021. They also won Breakout Group of the Year at the 2018 Juno Awards.
Damn.
And they also received a SOCAN Songwriting Prize for their song Money.
Now, I have a question for you, because I find it kind of insane that, like, people can be called breakout artists after 10 years of
Yes.
being in it, right? Personally, I would find it a little offensive if I was like 15 years in and they're like, breakout artist of the year.
Yeah, but I think it's relative to success, right?
It is, but
I mean, you could be at it like, you could have been like Morgan Freeman and didn't make it big till you were 40.
That's true.
He was on all
I thought
sorts
you were
of
going to say
TV.
Morgan Wallen.
No.
I was like,
No.
well, the only thing he breaks out is fucking chairs.
Yeah, from the six.
Reefs him off.
Apparently, he's facing felony charges for
Good.
that. Yeah,
Maybe that means that he'll stop making music.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, and his fans are all mouth breathers that'll go,
Last
"It's good."
night I let the liquor talk through a chair through the bar window.
It fell 6 stories down, and Eric Church was pissed at me and told me I was not allowed back inside. Oh, yeah.
I almost hit a cop car with a chair.
I was throwing a tantrum because my ex is now getting engaged.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't even know.
Baby mama's getting engaged
Damn.
to someone who looks exactly like him, just isn't a singer.
Last year I said the N-word.
I got kicked off of SNL right when that happened.
But now they let Shea Gillis on, so I'm making a comeback.
Because nobody cares what you say if you aren't black.
Nice. So a couple more bits about them. They had a couple more EPs. So in 2019, they released The Professional.
Extended presses.
Mm-hmm. It was accompanied by the singles Fascination and Snake Tongue. They toured in Canada. They opened for Glorious Sons and Passion Pit. They were also chosen as the opening act for the only Canadian stop of the Rolling Stones' 2019 farewell tour. No filter.
That's really
Now they're on tour again with a new album. Later that year, they appeared on field as a pre-game entertainment before the kickoff of the 107th Grey Cup in Calgary.
Now, I have an idea. We take the surviving original members of the Rolling Stones and the surviving original members of the Beatles, and we make a band.
No.
Why not?
Because I don't know if you listen to the Rolling Stones' new album.
No, it's not good, but I'm saying they could just play each other's hits.
No.
You don't want to hear Paul McCartney scream out Beast of Burden?
No. And then we can have like Oasis and Blur play together too, why don't we? They're fucking competing bands. They don't want to play with each other.
Could you imagine how much that would sell, though?
Yeah.
Probably more than McCartney's selling right now.
Probably. Well, I mean, still.
So the Grey Cup was in Calgary.
Yes, the 107th Grey Cup was in Calgary.
And what year was that?
That was
2019.
Yeah. And they were going to headline a tour in 2020, but we all know what happened then.
What happened?
The Rolling Stones went on tour again. This is what happened. Farewell.
And it was the worst thing that happened to the world that year.
Farewell. In 2021, they released their 4th EP, Future Lovers. That was accompanied by the singles Let's Go and Blow Up. The EP consisted of...
So I said, let's go. Let's get it started.
The EP consisted of songs originally intended for their forthcoming second album, but they decided to release it sooner. They also announced a 2022 Future Lovers tour, which spanned 20 dates across Canada and featured the Bluestones as special guests. The band combined their 2 most recent EPs.
Is that a reference to Blue Balls?
No.
No. Is that what
The band combined their 2 most recent EPs into a compilation album called Sisters Not Twins, the Professional/Lovers album.
I don't know if you should be lovers with your sister.
Or professional at it.
Or professional at it.
Anyways, that won
They'd
Juno
have to be from
Award.
Manitoba for that to be true.
That won the Juno Award for Rock Album of the Year in 2022.
Nice.
And like I said, they ended up getting left by Island Records, and they released some tracks independently between that
Independently?
time. They released the singles Grow Up Tomorrow, Orpheus, and My People. And that's pretty much it.
What do you mean by
them.
my people?
Morgan Wallen knows. Let's talk about some notable tracks on this album.
Yeah.
I picked up a couple I really liked. Blame Brett, obviously, is the
Yep.
biggest track on the album. Edge of the Earth is probably the second biggest track on the album. That peaked at number 8
Nice.
on the Canadian rock Billboard charts. What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Paranoid. It's another big song on that album. There's Shower Beers, just because I enjoy them.
I do like a good shower beer.
Cigarette, My Body featuring Your Lips. It's a funny, clever title.
Yeah.
And If a Tree Falls. I like the lyrics in that one. If a tree falls, no, I don't want to hear it. Is the hook on that one. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. Some of the reception on the album worth talking about. I had to kind of pick and pull a couple different things here to kind of get a accurate reception on it. It peaked at number 76 on the Canadian Billboard's chart. The album did.
Nice.
Like we said, Blame Brett was number 1. I think it was number 7 or 8 on the American rock Billboard chart, so quite good. Edge of the Earth has peaked at number 8 on the Canadian rock charts. They won Rock Album of the Year and Group of the Year recently at the 2024 Juno Awards.
Nice.
Shannon Garner of Clash Magazine gave it a 7 out of 10. Album of the Year has an aggregate score of 73 out of 100 on 110 scores.
It's a little low.
Music Board has it at a 3.6 out of 5 aggregate score on 115 ratings. And Rate Your Music has it at a 3.27 out of 5 on 225 ratings.
Damn.
Something I did pick up on reading like some of the people's reviews of the album. I think it's kind of like one of those ones you either really like or you really don't like. Some people find, they don't like them because they're women. Some people don't like it because they find the lyrics a little bit, too on the nose. I like the album because I think it's fun. I think it's, the upbeat tracks are quite nice to listen to. And they have some more melodic, mellow tracks like, Edge of the Earth. That one I find quite enjoyable to listen to.
Dude, and I'm edging all Earth.
Good for you.
Yeah, dude.
Good for you. But I like the sound. I got what they were going for, especially when I was listening to that interview and they were talking about taking inspiration from like New Wave and The Cure. I got it. It clicked. I was like, yeah, the sound sounds like it. Bit more of a modern take on it. I mean, you could say that the lyrics are a little shallow at points. Like a little.
But I mean, in all fairness, a lot of music, the lyrics, like especially pop music,
Yes.
the lyrics aren't necessarily the forefront.
Yes.
I know I'm a lyric snob, but this album doesn't make me think it's that bad.
It's not like I'm sitting down and looking for poetry when I'm listening to this sort of music anyways,
This
right?
sort of music is what I put on while I'm longboarding.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to go toss the bee in a park.
Or you're sitting outside having a beer, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It's not something you gotta, actively listen to exactly what they're saying. But I do think
Like, this is the type of album that I smoke a joint and then call my grandparents while listening to,
Yeah, I do think they have some, like we've pointed out before, they had some. Sorry, I didn't even. That just caught with me. It just got with me. But yeah, like some of the lyrics, I do think they have some clever lyrics in there too. I found them, a couple ones we laughed about already.
Oh, yeah.
There was one too on the cigarettes one that's like, I want to be your cigarette so I can be on your lips. It's like very like, middle school-esque.
Lip to lip.
Very middle school-esque. But I like it. I enjoyed it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You want to review this sucker?
Yeah, let's get this bad boy reviewed.
So every week on Misfits on Vinyl,
Yes.
we review the album we just talked about.
Oh.
We review it on all sorts of elements, such as technical,
Oh.
musical,
Yes.
lyrics,
Wow.
album art, reception, and does it hold up? And then we give it a final aggregate score out of 10,
Dang.
and that'll probably realistically be between like a 6 and a 7.5, because all of our albums are between a 6 and a 7.5.
We have a few 9s. We have a few 3s.
Yes, I don't know if we have a lot of 3s.
We have a couple.
No.
I think Steve Winwood, because we were like
It's got the one good song.
it's got one good song and then a lot of filler.
That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same.
Except it wasn't even that song.
No,
it was
it wasn't.
Higher Love.
Yeah. Give me a higher love. That's right. That's right. Is the other song even Steve Winwood? Am I just talking out my ass?
Well, I know he did Back in the High Life again. Oh no, you know what? Who did Changes? Fuck, I forget who did Changes, but I don't. Might have been Don Henley.
No.
Yeah, dude.
That's not Don Henley.
It might have been Don Henley.
No, he does the Boys of Summer, bro.
I think it was Don Henley, bro.
I don't think so.
He also did New York Minute.
There's so many songs called Changes. That's just the way it is.
I mean, Tupac did it too, technically. He sampled it.
Yeah, it was Bruce Hornsby and The Range.
Oh.
So definitely not fucking Don Henley and definitely not Steve Winwood.
Pretty close to Don Henley, though.
Not at all. Okay, technically, what do you think of this album?
So I think it's mixed really well. I think that it, like, when you were talking about the sound being very much that they were going for like a Cure vibe with a lot of their rhythm and percussion, it feels like it's a modernized version of that. So I think that they did a really good job of that. I would probably say I'd go with a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's for an independently produced album. I think it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job. I think it's layered properly.
Yeah.
You know, I do find her voice like sometimes like a little like, I don't know, it might just be the tone of the voice. It kind of blends in, like where you can't quite pick up on what she's actually saying.
You even notice that in Blame Brett.
Yeah, it's because like her voice has got like a lower tone for a female voice, and it does kind of get drowned out by the bass at times.
Yeah.
So I'd probably go closer to a 6 on it for myself.
Sweet. So we're at a 6.75.
Musically,
I mean, it is. It's a refreshing take on like indie alt rock and specifically female-led vocals.
I think it's pretty bumping.
I think it's pretty bumping. I would probably go a little higher on that. I'd give it an 8.25 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it does what it was looking to achieve. I mean, I think everything sounds super crisp and snappy. Like it's fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned. I would probably go closer to an 8. I'll go an 8 even.
8 even?
Yes.
All right, so we're at a 7.36.
Now let's talk lyrics.
Lyrics. Blame Brett in and of itself, just the story around it and everything.
Yeah.
And the reasons for why they wrote it. I'd bump the lyrics up to a 9 for that.
I like the line where she's like, I wouldn't let me near your dad. It's not my fault. Yeah, no, I'm probably going to go.
But I'm actually going to go lower because it like a lot of them are kind of silly and duds. And like, I mean, it's not like lyrics are the biggest thing on the album. So I'd go a 7.
Yeah, I'm going to go probably a 6.5. One of the other lines that makes me laugh too, on the one song, it's like, she's a fire sign, but I don't really know what that means. And I was like, nah, neither do I actually. It made me laugh. So I'm probably going to go, I guess, a 6.5.
6.5? All right, so we're at a 7.18.
Album art, I mean, it's pretty standard. It's like, a bunch of squares with their faces on it.
Yeah.
I'd probably go like a 5 on it.
Yeah, I'd go a 5 too. So we're now at a 6.89.
Reception was mixed.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was kind of mixed across the board. Like most places were giving it a mid rating. Some of the aggregate scores gave it higher. Like the ones out of 10 was giving it, about a 7. We had some low 3s out of 5, which I guess is still pretty right in the middle. So I would probably, conservatively give it a 7 out of 10 reception.
I'm going to go a little higher just because when you were talking about their Spotify listeners and like how much this has blown them up, I would say I would go higher just for that fact that it blew them up so much. Like
I'd be curious though to look and see how many people are listening to the album as a whole compared to just those standout singles. That would be something worth looking at because I did see like there was 2 or 3 tracks that are at the top of their Spotify that had millions and millions of listens comparative to the ones that were on like the bottom half of that.
So you gave it a 7?
I gave it a 7.
I'm gonna give it an 8. So now we're at a 7.06 out of 10.
Yeah, and I don't think it doesn't hold up. Really applies. It's a fresh album. It's brand new.
Yeah.
I sure hope it does.
I'd hope so.
It's less than a year since its release.
So a 7.06 out of 10.
7.06 out of 10. Let's just make it a 7, just for
7.1. Let's round it up. It's closer to.
All right, we'll make it a 7.1.
7.1 out of 10.
So a 7.1 out of 10. I think that's a cool album. I think if you guys haven't listened to anything outside of Blame Brett, I would listen to the album itself.
Yeah.
Get a feel for the band. I think it's punchy at like 31 minutes, 10 tracks. Like, that's kind of how I like it.
It's poppy.
Yeah, that's how I enjoy it.
It pops. It
does the thing.
It does the thing, dude.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Before we go, I am filming my special.
Yes.
May 12th at Ranchman's here in Calgary. I've got an absolutely stacked lineup of openers. I got Amol Surrey, Gabby Rose, Dale Ward, Faris Haitia, and Brittany Lacing. So we got a couple of podcast favorites.
Mm-hmm.
We have our favorite guest.
Yes.
With Brittany.
Yes.
And yeah, it's gonna be a fun show. It's gonna be really fun. Tickets are online. They're $15. You can get them. And come on out. And,
it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what Spencer's been working on.
Yeah. I'm also looking forward to seeing what I've been working on, and if it works still.
And I'll ride the bull.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm. I can't spoil that. There's gonna be a cool thing in my special.
Awesome.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but
yeah, Cowboy number 2. Come check it out.
Cowboy number 2. Come check it out.
Awesome.
All right. And with that being said, anal contusions.